Okay. Karen also asked Stepfanie when you're going to release the dates and cities for your 2009 schedule.
The company that's working on those bookings is actually meeting next week. So as soon as I have those dates and they're confirmed, they will go up on my website.
Okay, and...
Oh, by the way, I just checked out the one in the red dress with the glasses. Okay, I'm in love. It's just, I forget the rest of the show. I can't even think straight. There's so much running through my mind right now, Ed. You got to pull me back in. You got to pull me back in, Ed.
Okay, well, I'll have to check that out when we go to break. Let's see. Kurt from Fairfield, please ask Stepfanie how she liked working with Robert Urich on the show Vegas. I think you talked about the last break. I mean, Robert Urich, he's one of those guys, Stepfanie, that Frankie and I can never talk enough about.
Oh, he was such a lovely man. He was just and talented, kind, very open, generous to work with. I believe that very bad first SAG strike occurred during the middle of filming that. I seem to recall, and we had to stop until the strike was settled months later, and then we came back and picked it right up where we left off, back in Vegas.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, again, he's one of those actors in our book. He kind of underappreciated, a lot better than people. I mean, he really
always better than the material he was given 90% of the time.
Yeah, he was terrific. He was really terrific.
Let's see. Coming out of the break, we played a clip from I don't remember which season it aired, Stepfanie, but it's a show you did for Hunter called, and I'm blanking on the title. But anyway, the song that you sang in the clip was called "Wounded to the Heart." It's a song that you wrote yourself, and I'm always amazed at songwriters, and I wonder which comes first. Do you write the music first and then work the lyrics in? Is it the other way around? Exactly how does that work?
There's no formula that works for me. It just comes. Sometimes I will get a melody and it'll stick in my head. Often it'll be the reverse. I'll suddenly get lyrics and I'll write those down, and when I start to form them, the music naturally, I don't know, it emanates off the page. I don't know how to describe it. I can remember one of my favorite songs I ever wrote was, I'd just gotten out of the shower, literally, and all of a sudden I got this spark. It was like boom, and I picked up the pen, I walked in the other room, and I wrote the song from the top of the page to the bottom without stopping. It just came right out. It just flowed. It took as long as it took for me to write the song, which was all of, 10, 15 minutes, and it was done.
Don't you wish you were like that all the time?
Yes, I really do. So it really depends. And I've got a couple of songs in response to what Karen said. There's a couple of songs and melodies that I've been kind of tooling around with. One in particular I just can't let go. So I know I'm going to have to eventually put together another album of, or CD, sorry, that's so dated, album.
What is an album?
Original work.
Wait, what is that? A record, an album? What is that?
Remember those?
Definitely. I still have a beta. Actually, vinyl's coming back. I mean, what's so weird is that I remember when CDs first came out, and all the experts were saying CD, the sound on CD is more pure than vinyl, and now it's totally flipped. Everyone's saying vinyl. I mean, vinyl is the way to go, and bands are actually releasing albums on vinyl now. So it's really interesting.
I'm one of those vinyl freaks. I know that sounds a little weird. Let me clarify.
Okay, we all have our kinky inclinations.
Oh, God, I promised my doctor I wouldn't talk about it. I have downstairs, I guess, to some standards, not a lot, but I have about 3,000 records, and they're all in alphabetical order.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And they're all boxed up because I have no room for them. But I use them also as research. You can find some extraordinary material that never got, redistributed on CD or on cassette. But I can't let go of that. I just can't let go of them.
When you sang on the show, Stepfanie, was that something that you had approached the producers about, or did they approach you about a storyline saying we'd like you to sing in this certain episode?
I think it was kind of a mutual moment. It was organic. It just happened. And then Mike Post, as you know, was in charge of the music.
Right.
And I went and met with him, and we just hit it off. And he said, let's do some of your songs. So I think I did that song you did, Wounded to the Heart, and then Closer. That was it. There was another song I wrote called Closer that wound up being in the show as well. And that song wound up kind of catching on. People liked it, so I sang it on a few talk shows and here and there. Unfortunately, when those first 3 seasons of Hunter were released out on DVD, due to, I'm sure, money, they did not put the songs that I sang on the show, because there were other episodes where I sang other material, but whenever those episodes are on this final collection, they were edited out.
Was that the record company's decision or the studio's decision?
No, the people who bought the product would have to pay publishing rights, and they were too cheap.
Yeah, it would have to be whoever released the DVD.
That's right. And
that's what it always comes down. Were those songs that you wrote, or just songs that you were singing for other people's material?
Both.
Oh, see, yeah, they don't want to pay you the rights, so they just put they just stick all the generic stuff in there.
Yeah, which is kind of unfortunate being a singer, because all of a sudden here comes a song where I'm singing, and they cut away to some headshots and some reactions, and it's somebody else's voice, and you think that's not me.
Right. Speaking of Hunter on DVD, we have a call. I believe, and I'm going to screw the name up. I believe it's LaDundriette calling from Gadsden, Alabama, and I believe LaDundriette has a question about Hunter on DVD. Hi, LaDundriette. Welcome to TV Confidential, and I hope I didn't screw up your name.
Hello, and thank you. You didn't do too bad. I've heard much worse. It's actually pronounced LaDundriette.
Well, that's a very pretty name.
It is.
Especially when you say it.
Thank you. It's French and Native American. I'm very proud of it, yeah. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Excellent.
Okay,
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for always answering the emails. You do a great job of answering the fans. And
thank you.
I'm so glad you enjoyed the birthday video that I made for you.
You're that lady.
Yes, that's me.
You did such a lovely job. Thank you.
Thank you, and you're very welcome. I was glad to do it. Okay, the question is, do you have any idea if any more of Hunter will be released to DVD?
I don't know. I've been asked that a lot. I wish I had an answer. I'm sorry. I don't know if it will. It would be nice if it would. I did 6 years out of the 7. And, boy, looking back at it, these episodes on DVD, for me, it's just a lovely walk down memory road.
Right. It's amazing. And I really do enjoy the show. I've been watching it for years, of course, and I do have the first, sets of DVDs that came out. And my other question is, I've read that you are working on a TV series that you're writing. Is that true?
But I'm not writing a TV series.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We're working on a couple feature films and a collection of short stories.
Oh, okay. All right, I understand. I heard incorrectly then, and I'm glad I was able to speak to you and get the truth, so I'm happy now.
Oh, good.
This is so cool to be talking to you. It's amazing. But I won't take up any more of your time because I know you have more people to talk to. And if you're ever in Alabama, I hope I get to see you.
If I wind up coming through there to sing, please check the website, and the dates will be posted.
And, of course, the website is www.stefaniekramer.com. And, of course, LaDundriette will have a link to Stephanie's website at tvconfidential.net. LaDundriette, thank you so much for calling, and I hope you listen to us. I hope you'll call us again.
That lady made a wonderful video for me for my birthday. And it's interesting, she's a Native American in Alabama. My mother was born and raised in Alabama, and she's Native American. And my father was born in Vienna, Austria, and he's an Austrian Jew. So I got a dad that's a Jew and a mom that's an Indian. That makes me another Jew.
Frankie, you wanted to be here all week, ladies and gentlemen. Check your
That's right. Try the veal. It's really
right. Exactly. Stephanie, let me ask you something. You direct it. You write. Now, I'm seeing where you directed a couple of episodes of Hunter, and you wrote the story to one of them. How did that come about?
It was a natural progression to direct. It was just another step. I think I was one of the youngest, if not the youngest, one of the youngest females who ever joined the DGA at the time. And I enjoyed directing. Of course, it was a little more difficult when you're one of the stars of the show, because then there's only two of you. You really got to take yourself way out of an episode to be able to prep. And then the same for when you're directing. So, and then you're doing editing. So, it's hard to do when you're starring in a show. I enjoyed the process. I would not mind going back into directing, actually. It's just that the other things have taken my attention. But I really enjoyed directing. I'm grateful that Stephen Cannell and NBC opened their minds to that. There was no problem about it at all. It was like, absolutely, come on and do it. And Fred as well did. As you said, I co-wrote an episode in particular with a friend of mine. I enjoyed that as well. It's an incredible journey working on a series for 6 years. There is such an arc of an internal experience that occurs. For me, it certainly did a maturity leap. I grew up in so many ways internally on that show. And one of the things that's great about doing a show is all the people that come through that you get to work with. And these are people, I'm a fan. It's so wonderful people are fans of mine, and I so appreciate that, because I'm a fan of so many people. I get excited.
Well, I see on your website there's a picture of you with Fred and Claude Akins.
Oh my God, that's right. And we had people like, I don't know, I couldn't remember them all. We had Jane Russell, Stuart Whitman, Gary Sinise, Frances McDormand, certainly Garrett Morris, as you know, was on all the time. Dean Stockwell, Shaka Khan, Isaac Hayes, Brian Dennehy. Oh, we had the two Dennis. We had Dennis Franz and Dennis Farina and Anthony LaPaglia. I mean, it goes on. Ed O'Neill. I think probably the most famous one of anyway was certainly George Clooney. And I remember we came in and my friends were saying, "Oh, he's so cute. You get to have some romantic, wonderful scene with him." And I said, "No, I got to shoot him, cuff him, and read him his rights."
Actually, that sounds better than the first.
Well, maybe to you.
I understand you have you have a funny story about William Wyndon and when he appeared on the show.
Oh God. Yes, he was a wonderful, wonderful man and such a talent, as we all know. We were filming, the episode that we were working on with him was an extremely hard shoot. We did 3 days in a row of 20 hours. That means enough time when you wrapped to go home, go to sleep for a half an hour, wake up, take a shower, turn around, drink a cup of coffee, and come back. On no sleep for 3 days. It was all wrong and bad on that level. It was really wretched. But as a result, on that fourth morning, we started 6 in the morning, and there was an actor working with another gentleman. He had a scene. We were in a junkyard. Fred and I were going to arrest this guy who was holding a gun on a man who was kneeling in front of him. And, of course, the gun had what was called a full load. And he was rehearsing. And in his excitement, as he brought the gun up next to this man, he discharged it accidentally. And that load went right by the man's ear. So it blew out his eardrum. So all of a sudden, we're watching this rehearsal, and the gun goes off, and the and the guy falls over. And, of course, it's a horrible moment, and everyone comes running. And he gets carted off to the hospital, this actor. This was like at 6:30 in the morning. Cut to the very end of the night. It's now 2 in the morning. Now, this actor has come back from the hospital to finish his day of shooting. I don't know how, but he made it. And we're all exhausted. And the last shot is with Bill Wyndham and myself and this actor whose name escapes me. I'm sure I've shut it out of my mind because I have the most horrible guilt. But Bill Wyndham and we're all exhausted, and we're in this sort of house of mirrors, and we're shooting at each other, and glass is shattering, and it's one of those things. And then I come to the end, I get this guy, I'm going to arrest him, and I have a little tiny pearl handle .22 that fits just in my hand. That's not supposed to be loaded. And I pull a man's hands behind his back, I go to cuff him, it's loaded, it discharges, and I shot this man right in the bum.
Ooh.
This is the same man that got the bullet in the morning.
Talk about combat pay.
It was horrible. And Bill Wyndham looked at me like I couldn't believe it either. We couldn't believe the gun went off. It wasn't supposed to be loaded. It was one of those terrible accidents that could have been worse. But in hindsight, now we were all laughing. After the guy got the slug taken out of his bum.
So when people come up to this man on the street and said, "I saw you on Hunter," he's like, "What?" I saw you on what?
Yeah, and then they say, take a seat. No, thanks.
That's funny.